What is going on, guys? Noah Brewer here, back again with another video. And I just want to start by saying that if you don't already have a winning ad, or honestly even multiple winning ads, and you're not doing $500 to $1,000 a day at a minimum, then I probably would recommend not even to watch this video yet, because you might run yourself in circles. But if you are in that situation where you're stuck at $1,000 a day to even $2,000 or $3,000 a day, and you just have a few winning ads, then this video is going to show you exactly what you need to do step by step to get to over $10,000 per day. And this can literally happen in as little as a week. And I know that because I literally did it within 5 or 6 days. We were already doing over $10,000 days. And this was actually from zero. And then in 12 days, we were able to surpass $20,000 days. And it was literally just with doing what I'm going to talk about in this video. So it's not super complex. What I will also want to say is I have this other video. It's titled $20,000 per day ad creative testing system. Highly recommend watching this video before you continue on this video. So if you haven't seen that yet, go watch that. It's going to make understanding this one a lot easier. So let's dive right into the juice here. I have 4 different steps here, so I'll walk you through each of the steps. Step 1, identify winning variables. So go into your ad account, pull away all of your top winning ads and look at everything. Look at the ad copy, look at the image, the video, and basically just pull it all up so that it's all in front of you. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna perform learnings on these, but we're not gonna do traditional learnings. We're gonna make a winning variables list. So I have a Google Sheet here to show you what this looks like exactly. And then we'll actually make some together. I have an example. We'll look at Marsmen's top ads here, so you can just pretend that these are your top ads. And we'll go through and create the winning variables. So if you watch the video I told you to, you'll understand what these are. But basically what we're gonna do is go through your entire account and identify all of the winning generation methods, the winning angles, the winning formats, and the winning concepts. Generation methods is how you get the ads. Winning angles are the way that you're portraying the message, or like what message you're saying to a specific avatar. The winning format is the way that you're communicating that message visually or audibly. Like, these are just formats, basically presentation. And then concepts are a combination of these two. So it's basically a message and then a way to present the message that works. So we're going to identify these first. The only thing that I'll say that this is different from other learnings is, instead of kind of looking at the ad as a whole, and then creating kind of like a story as to why we think it worked or why it didn't work, what we're going to do is we're going to pull very specific kind of like catchphrases or taglines that are said throughout this video and in the ad copy. And we're basically just assuming that this is a winning ad. It's Marsmen's top ad, so it's probably doing really well. We're going to document the generation method, the angle, the format, and the winning concepts. Definitely do this for your copy as well. But we're just going to be looking at the video here. So let's go ahead and watch it first, and then we'll go ahead and dissect it and then separate it into all these different winning variables. I can see that this is a pretty long video. Normally what I'll do is I'll watch the entire thing once. I won't make you stick around for that, but I'll watch the entire thing once, kind of get an idea. But just off the rip, I'm going to put this under formats, that this is a video, and I'm just going to say 125, just because we know that this is a length that works, and I'll continue watching the video, and if I notice anything else, I'll write it down. So I've reviewed the entire ad, so now I'm going to watch it a lot slower, and I'm also going to take note of another format here, which is a respond to comment. Okay, so this is basically the hook. The hook is basically saying, before you start injections. So this is going to be an angle. So I would almost call this the pre-injection angle, and then we can put some more notes on here. That basically says, before you start injections, before you start TRT injections, watch this. Another thing I'm going to note is you might not actually need them. So the pre-injection angle is basically like, once you write it down, you'll know in your head. So when you're making ads in the future, you can kind of replicate it. But the pre-injection angle as a whole is like, before you go turn around and start taking TRT, watch this video. It's going to be kind of an educational story. And then you're basically saying, like, you might not actually need TRT. And then let's keep watching the video and see how the story progresses. And if we introduce a new angle, then I'll write down a new angle. So right after he says, before you start TRT injections, watch this. You might not actually need them. he goes into kind of like this social proof or like testimonial. My testosterone went from X to X in X days, which isn't that impressive, but it was all natty. So he's basically calling out that it wasn't, too good to be true, but it was all natural. So therefore, it is impressive because he was able to do it all naturally. So we're just gonna, that's kind of like another angle. So we can spin that into a different angle. Okay, so I just finished the learnings. I don't want to drag you through more of that, but this is basically this entire video just written down into every single different variable here. I got all the angles written down. I got all the, notable format notes. So it's a 1:25 long video. It's a responding to a comment, and it's a shirtless dude in the gym while working out in the video, which I thought was definitely notable. And then these are all the angles that he talked about in the video. So you'll see this with videos a lot, where they'll literally touch on like 10 different angles, versus like images, it'll be like 1 or 2. So if you're doing videos, you're gonna pull a lot of data when you're doing this, and you're separating all the variables. And that's why it's important to come over here to winning concepts. And if it's a video, honestly, you don't have to write all of this out again. You can just put a link to the video. The way that this was all combined in that one video should be noted in the order that it's combined and like the exact things that he said. Because later on, when you're doing image ads or story ads or hiring more creators to make more videos, you know the exact format that is proven to work. And this is going to come in handy later. This is step number 1, is going through your entire ad account, all of your winning ads. Even if they won like 3 months ago and you turned them off, definitely write down all of the angles and everything that is proven to work in your account, and try to do it as close to this as possible. And you should have a pretty good size list of all the different variables that are proven to work for your product in your account. That was step number 1. Now, step number 2 is we're gonna do the same exact thing, except for looking at our existing ad account. We're gonna be looking at our actual market research and creating new variables to test. So these are things that we haven't done yet or we haven't made work yet. Even if they're things that you've tested before, you should definitely write them down here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back here, and it's literally the same exact structure. And we're gonna go through our research, which I'll probably make a video in the future on like what research you should be doing and what you should have to be able to pull this off. But I assume if you're already doing 1 to 3K a day, you probably already have a good amount. So you're just gonna come in here and type up as many possible angles, like new angles that you haven't proven out yet. And same thing with formats, like how many different ways can you portray all these angles? Okay, so like skip the needles, for example. This could be a reply to comment, which we have the respond to comment on the proven already. This could be a podcast format. This could be an image, like a before and after. This could be, so these are all the different formats. And again, if you watch the video I recommended you watch earlier, you'll make a lot more sense of this on how to actually create these. But yeah, basically your goal here is just to make a massive amount of angles and a massive amount of formats that are not proven. Okay, and that's literally it. And I'm not going to go into the research and how to actually do that because I think a lot of you are smart enough to put 2 and 2 together. But I will be having a video in the future on how to do this and how to come up with angles and formats and all this kind of stuff. And obviously you can use AI to help you generate a lot of ideas once you have the base research done. So in step number 3 now, our main goal is going to be to take all of these unproven angles and test them in different ways in ads and start moving them up here to the proven. That's the overall goal, is to like stack a huge list, test them all through sheer volume of testing so that you can start moving more stuff up to your winning and proven category. And then you can start mixing and matching generation methods, angles, and formats and finding new winning concepts. Because once you have a bunch of winning concepts, all you have to do is test them with all the different generation methods. And like you can literally test thousands and thousands of ads and find hundreds of winning ads. So I'll touch a little bit on step number 3, a little bit more in depth than what I just did. So ad creation and generation methods. So you're gonna wanna know all of the generation methods that you tested that have worked. And you wanna be hyper specific with this because each generation method will perform differently. So if you're using, Claude and Higgsfield, if you're using Angled or an agency or creative strategist, just write all that stuff down here. Because it's going to be really helpful later when we're mixing and matching and creating combinations. And when you're actually creating your ads, basically what you're going to want to do is pay attention to what was working and then try to think of ways that you can mix in new winning angles or new winning formats. Or there's three variables here. I'll say it like this: generation method, angles, and formats. And I like to only test one of those at a time. Okay, so if you're making a new ad, you want a winning generation method, a winning angle, and a new format. Okay, so you're gonna pull UGC creator, pre-injection angle, and then you're gonna pull a format from down here. So you're just introducing one new variable on each batch that you're testing. And then if you want to test new angles, you do a winning format, a winning generation method, and just test new angles down here. Hopefully that makes sense. Like, you're just testing one variable at a time, but you can also test completely new variables at a time. And this will honestly probably find you success a lot quicker because you're throwing more darts at the wall. So more are going to stick, as opposed to just more isolating controlled tests. Where you just take a random generation method, a random angle, and a random format, and you just create completely new winning concepts. And I call this kind of shotgun testing, because you have no idea what you're doing. Basically, you're just throwing a lot of random stuff at the wall. But obviously, it's all research backed, and you have a good idea of what's already working. So it's not completely doing things randomly, but at the same time, you're just throwing a lot of random variables to try to find new winning combinations. And that leads really, really well into the next point that I have here, which is the actual ad strategy and how to scale. It's very simple. So I launch ads in batches of 5 to 50 ads. Okay, so if you're doing videos, you might want to hover closer to 5 because videos take a lot more time to test and the hit rates are a lot higher. But if you're doing image ads, which is my preferred way, especially if you only have a few winning ads in your account, the sooner you can get image ads to work, the better, because it allows you to push massive volume very quickly and get through all the different angles and all the different formats and generation methods and find a lot of new winning concepts. And then later on, you can always move to videos. Once you have all the winning angles and concepts, it becomes a lot easier to make videos that actually work. So yeah, if you're doing videos, stay closer to 5. If you're doing images, I would recommend 30 to 50. I've had probably equal success with both 30 and 50. Okay, so yeah, the ad strategy I use is like stupid easy. So it's just one CBO at $125 a day, one ad set with open targeting. And then under that ad set, you're gonna want 5 to 50 ads following the same concept or similar concept. So remember earlier, we talked about what a concept is. So a concept is a generation method, angle, and format, or angle and format mixed together in one. So it's basically all the different variables put together in one. So for each batch is going to be a concept. So you're going to pick a generation method, pick an angle, and pick a format. And it can be a new format, winning angle, winning gen method, like however you want to mix it up. But that creates a concept. And each batch you want to follow the same concept. Okay, this is important. So even though we're testing a lot of different variables, we're keeping the test very controlled. We're launching them in batches with solid volume, but we're keeping the volume testing controlled to one concept so that we can actually thoroughly test that concept. Because whether you're doing images or videos, if you're just launching one ad per concept, it's not enough variation. And again, when I say variation, I'm not talking about different colors. Each ad needs to look 100% unique. So that's what I mean when I say variations. I'm not talking about slight variation. I'm talking about very unique. That's super important. The way that I analyze them, I'll just let them run for 2 days. If they're not profitable, turn them off. If they are profitable, I'll just let them run. And then what I'll do is, obviously, whenever you find new winning stuff, you just add it to your proven section up here. And then how I scale is, if I have like a 20% room for a decrease in performance and I'm still hitting my target, I will just double the budget. So I'll just go from 125 to 250, 250 to 500. And depending on how aggressive and how good your results are, depends on how often you can double budgets. But the most sustainable way to do it is probably every 5 to 7 days, just to make sure that there's enough time for it to optimize. Because sometimes you'll double it, it'll have like a really, really good day. And if you're doubling every single day, this can be dangerous, because it could have a really good day and then a really shit day, and then kind of average out mid, where it doesn't have that 20% room to drop. And that's never fun. What I would recommend doing is just launch it at 125 a day. If it's losing money after 2 days, just turn it off and launch another one. And if it is making money, you can just leave it on for 5 to 7 days. And if you have that 20% room to decrease in performance, then just double the budget and give it another 5 to 7 days. And if the ad is really, really good, then you can double all the way up to 16K a day. Like I've taken a single CBO with 50 ads in it all the way up to $16,000 a day, which that was the point where we lost profitability. It was profitable at $8,000 per day budget though. So you can just double your way all the way up to crazy numbers with a single winning ad in a single CBO. And it's really, really simple. It doesn't need to be more complex than this. And this is literally the exact strategy that I use to scale from 0 to over 20K a day in 12 days. And you can see why, because each time we launch new batches, we're launching like 30 to 50 image ads or 5 to 10 video ads. It's a lot of ad volume. Like we're launching 30 ads a day. At one point, we're doing 2-3 new campaigns every single day. So we're actually launching, 50 ads a day, 100 ads a day. One day we launch like 200 ads. So you're pushing mass volumes and you're banging through all the different possible variations from mixing winning with new, doing all winning. Like there's so many different variations you can do here. And this is how you scale. And this is how you discover like hundreds of winning ads and tens of winning concepts that you can replicate basically forever with different generation methods, different UGC creators. So much you can do once you do this and get through this initial kind of scaling phase. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole strategy. So I'll be making more videos on this in the future as well about, the research and some different things in here. I think next week I'll be putting up a video that goes more in depth on my ad strategy and why it's so simple and easy. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope it was valuable and I hope that you can turn around and go scale your store. Go run a bunch of ads, find all your winning concepts. And if you follow this the right way, you're more than likely going to be able to scale to 10 to 20K a day pretty quickly. So hope this was valuable to you. That's it for this video. This is Noah Brewer and I'm out. Peace.